The strangest part about intelligence is that sometimes the smarter you are, the easier it becomes to talk yourself out of the very life you want. Not because you lack discipline, not because you're lazy, and definitely not because you don't care, but because your mind becomes so busy searching for the perfect answer that life quietly moves forward without you. Somewhere right now, there's someone sitting in front of a laptop with 15 tabs open. Investment videos, business ideas, market predictions, finance podcasts, notes filled with plans, spreadsheets, research, endless information. And yet, nothing changes. Weeks pass, then months, sometimes years, because despite knowing more than most people around them, they still haven't started. No investment, no business, no risk, no meaningful financial movement. Just thinking, researching, preparing, waiting. And this is the strange trap nobody warns smart people about. Sometimes intelligence becomes a hiding place. Imagine a man named Daniel, 34 years old, smart, careful, responsible, the type of person people naturally trust. He was the guy friends called when they needed advice, the one who always thought things through, never impulsive, never reckless. And on paper, he looked like someone destined for success. Good job, stable income, curious mind, always learning. But financially, he felt stuck, not struggling, just stuck, like life was somehow moving, without actually moving. Every year looked almost identical. He had dreams, starting something of his own, investing properly, building real wealth, escaping financial stress. But there was always one problem. He could never decide what the right move was. Every option felt risky. Every decision felt incomplete. Every opportunity came with too many questions. Should he invest now? Or wait for the market to crash? Should he start a business? Or save more first? Should he take a risk? Or stay safe? What if he failed? What if he picked the wrong thing? What if there was a smarter move he simply hadn't discovered yet? And so, he waited. Not because he lacked ambition, but because overthinking felt productive. That's the dangerous illusion. Overthinking feels like movement. It feels responsible. It feels intelligent. After all, you're researching, learning, preparing, being careful. But there's a hidden cost to constantly preparing for life. Eventually, preparation becomes procrastination wearing expensive clothes. Daniel didn't notice it at first, because overthinking disguises itself as responsibility. He told himself, "I'm just being smart. I'm making sure I don't mess up. I just need more information." But something strange started happening. Years passed, and the people around him, the ones he secretly considered less intelligent, started moving ahead. Not because they knew more, but because they moved faster. One friend started a small business. Messy at first, made mistakes, lost money, learned, adjusted, eventually succeeded. Another friend began investing despite feeling scared. Small amounts, nothing dramatic, but time quietly compounded their progress. Meanwhile, Daniel kept researching, watching videos, making plans, thinking deeply, waiting for certainty. And certainty never came. Because here's the painful truth smart people often struggle to accept. Life rarely rewards perfect decisions. It rewards movement, and perfection is expensive, especially financially. One night, Daniel sat alone scrolling through videos. Another productivity podcast playing in the background. Another finance expert explaining the perfect strategy. Another person promising certainty. And suddenly, something hit him. He realized he had become addicted to thinking, not acting. Thinking, because thinking feels safe. Thinking protects you from failure. When you stay in your head, you never have to risk embarrassment, never have to make mistakes, never have to face rejection. But there's a hidden tragedy in that. You also never grow, never learn, never compound progress. Because action teaches things thinking never can. And money, Money rewards people who move, not recklessly, but consistently. There's something psychologists rarely mention about intelligent people. Many of them secretly struggle with fear more than others. Not obvious fear, quiet fear, fear disguised as logic, fear disguised as analysis, fear disguised as being realistic. They imagine every possible scenario, every possible failure, every worst-case outcome. And because they can see problems others miss, they often convince themselves doing nothing is smarter than trying. It sounds logical, until 10 years pass, and suddenly, staying safe becomes its own risk. Daniel remembered something his grandfather once told him, a sentence he ignored for years. He said, "Most people fail because they act too quickly," then smiled, and added, "But smart people sometimes fail because they wait too long." Back then, Daniel thought patience was always wisdom, but now, he finally understood. Waiting only helps when something meaningful is happening during the wait. But endless hesitation? That's not patience. That's fear with better marketing. The strange thing about financial success is, most people imagine successful people are fearless. They aren't. They simply learned something important. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Most successful people weren't certain when they started. They were confused, nervous, imperfect, but they moved anyway. And movement created momentum. Momentum created confidence. Confidence created results. Meanwhile, overthinkers often wait for confidence before acting. And confidence never arrives. Because confidence grows after evidence, not before. Daniel finally decided to do something small. Not dramatic, not life-changing overnight, just small. He opened an investment account, tiny amount of money, nothing impressive. But for the first time, he stopped consuming information and started participating. Something changed, not financially at first, mentally, because action interrupted fear. Then he took another step, and another, messy, imperfect, uncomfortable, but real. And strangely, the mistakes he feared so much weren't nearly as painful as the regret of staying stuck. That's what nobody tells smart people. You can think your way into understanding, but you can also think your way out of opportunity, out of momentum, out of financial growth, out of the future you actually want. Because intelligence is powerful, but without action, it becomes expensive. And maybe the biggest financial mistake smart people make is assuming one perfect decision will save them, when in reality, financial success is usually built through imperfect decisions made consistently over time. Small risks, small progress, repeated, again and again, until one day, the life that once felt impossible starts quietly becoming real. So maybe the question isn't, am I smart enough to succeed financially? Maybe the better question is, how much of my potential have I accidentally talked myself out of while waiting for the perfect moment? Because sometimes, the biggest obstacle standing between smart people and financial success is the voice in their own head convincing them they need just a little more time. If this made you think differently, support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. It helps us keep creating cinematic stories that challenge the way you see life, money, and human behavior.